Joy Porter, Professor of Indigenous and Environmental History at the University of Hull. Joy, it's a joy to have you here.
It's a joy to have this question to answer. What a fantastic question. Love it.
So can you help us out then? So what is the history of it? What's it all about?
Right. They are community artifacts of the Indigenous peoples or the First Nations of the Pacific Northwest, so Western Canada, Northeastern United States. And actually, although they're everywhere in imagery terms, actually only a handful of communities carved them along the West Coast, but they've kind of taken off as being representative of Canada, and other Indigenous people further south, like the Cree and the Ojibwe, they've started carving them too. And they're designed to disintegrate after about 100 years, so most of the ones we've got now are made in the last 200 years.
And so if there's only made by a certain group, are they quite rare?
No, the tradition is passed on, and they've become, if anything, even more popular. Now they're being used as diplomatic assertions of sovereignty. There's one in Windsor Great Park. And the Indigenous people of Alaska in particular are wanting them back from the United States, from places like the National Museum of Scotland, where they got one back in 2006 after it had been nicked in 1929.
Oh. And in terms of value, can you buy them on the open market? Are they available to purchase?
They are so expensive that only the richest big corporations can afford to pay for enormous trees of cedar, Western red cedar, to be carved in traditional fashion. Sometimes they do use chainsaws and azes and other kind of things, but traditionally it was beaver teeth and things that were used to carve them. There's a wonderful one, if anyone ever goes on a cruise to Alaska and ends up in Juneau, go look at one created by my friend Rosita Worrell of the Sealaska Heritage Institute, and that's the world's only 360-degree pole.
Wow.
And it's made from a 600-year-old cedar. Totem poles, fascinating, because in many ways they're an example of what happens when cultures come together. They're not really about exotic totem, they're really more like heraldic crests. Sometimes remains of the dead would be buried at the top of them. Some of them just basically say, this is who we are, this is our land. They're more like signposts. And the ones that really fascinate me are called shame poles, where if you really mess up, you get a pole made to remind you of the fact. There's one in Cordova, Alaska, and it commemorates the mishandling of the 1989 Exxon Valdez oil spill in Prince William Sound. And they're still owed money, the Indigenous people, so they put up a pole to say, pay us, Exxon Valdez, please.
And nobody wants a reminder of having done something bad and they make a pole out of it, a shame pole. No one wants that, do they?
I know, it's just the worst. They did one for Seward, who also didn't show suitable diplomatic respect to the Indigenous of Alaska. So you go down in history as, a twerp, a wrongdoer.
Well, thank you so much for helping us out with that question, Joy. I wish you all have a great Easter Monday.